Hello everybody,
Sunny Bonani. Thanks for being part of our family and
welcome to the Loch Fam Diaries.
Yes, welcome.
All right, so look, today we're going to get into a conversation that is controversial right now amongst relationships, boyfriend and girlfriends, things like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's the 50-50 conversation. Me and my wife are going to shine some light and some of our perspectives on these ideas, and hopefully we shine some good light on it, okay? We took a lot of time to bring these ideas together and plan for this, so definitely hit the like, share, and comment if you like the information that we drop, and also bless us with the like button and definitely subscribe because we put a lot of time in this.
Yes, and we also are in a
we're on a goal.
We're on a goal to reach 500 subscribers.
Yes.
So please help us out and please share before we start the video, especially if you know that your partner needs to have this type of conversation, or you and your partner needs to have this type of conversation, or this is what you're doing and you think that they could, you could get some help around here,
Yeah.
Or your friend is going through, something in 50-50 relationship and stuff like that, or your cousin, your sister, just share the video, okay?
Yeah.
You don't know who it needs to reach, all right?
Yeah.
Or just like the video. If you don't want to share, you can like, and it will reach more algorithm.
As a friend of mine says, please gently tap the like button.
Yes.
To boost us in that algorithm. Okay, so we're going to get into it. 50-50 conversations. What is your thoughts? What are our thoughts? We got a couple bullet points that we would like to keep things more structurized while we're conversating on this.
Yeah.
I think there may be a part 2 of this, just to be time aware, but let's dive into it. Which one is this one? This is.
You had a question for me, remember earlier?
Oh yeah, that question. Do you want to start it right now, like that, with that question?
Okay, no, we can. However,
Okay.
I just thought that you forgot, but
I did. Well, I didn't forget, but I got you now. I know what you're talking about. It says what? Long-term vision. Okay. So, yeah.
So we're gonna first start by explaining what problem we're trying to solve in a 50-50 relationship, right? Because somebody might think that we are going to talk about how 50-50 helps or how 50-50 doesn't help. Whatever it is that you're thinking right now, we are going to solve the problem. We want to solve the problem on being in a relationship and staying together as a couple, even if it's boyfriend or girlfriend. But if you guys are in the same household and doing 50-50 and getting a lot of conflict because of the 50-50, because my husband works pretty much the whole day and I'm home, and if he's at work, if we do 50-50 I'm just making an example, but if we do 50-50 and it's his day to clean, the house is going to stay dirty, messy the whole day until he comes back, right? So I don't want to stay in a dirty house, and nobody wants to come in a nasty, like I do not. I don't, right? So we are talking about that type of 50-50 vibe on, like, it causes conflict. And
all right, so to chime in on what she was saying, I have some wishy-washies with this too, because from some point of perspectives, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. It is a 50-50 role in some form of fashion, but there's ways to have a teamwork where you guys know your roles, and for as far as in certain things, like, hey, I'm gonna work on A, B, C, D, and F, G today, okay? What do you? And then I'll tell her, like, hey, I'm gonna work on A, D, C, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, Y, right? And there's a functionality that's helping with the push and pull of the system, or our foundation of where we're going for today, or where we're going for long-term wise, right? And so, for instance, if I am at work, or I am scheduled for the investor for the whole day, correct? Or for like 8 hours, right? I'll be there for that 8 hours, and this is what I'm doing with this time. And for the 8 hours that she's here, this is what she wants to do with the time. So she's helping out in a sense of the other aspect Same if it was vice versa. I mean, I wouldn't want to necessarily have her at the job working all day and then her get back to the crib and it was the same exact way that she left when it was.
Right.
Because I would rather her walk in like, wow, baby, smell good. You're like, yeah, you like that, don't you? You know, and like, show the appreciation for the other person for whatever that they were contributing for that day, So I do think there is a kind of somewhat of a 50-50 role that happens, but it's not the way that people have been articulating it. Like, okay, like Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm doing the dishes, and Thursday, Friday, she's doing the dishes, and then you got to make sure that happens.
Like on a sibling timetable.
Yeah, like, things like that, or I take the trash out these days, you take the trash out that day, or when we go towards bills, I take I take a certain percentage towards the bills. We break out the ones that we use bills together, and then I keep the rest of the funds for me. I think that's a little bit of a different role, and I would like to tackle that conversation too. But overall, like I was saying, playing that devil's advocate in a marriage, it is not the idea that people think when it comes to 50-50, right? It is just the ebb and flow of how we yin and yang for the overall goal or for the overall vision, right? And there are aspects that I may not be able to touch that she notice and then go handle it, or that she may not be able to touch that I notice, and I say, I'm just going to handle it today, okay? And you could just not think about that because obviously there's something coming up with you, or there's something coming up with me where I'm not able to attack that one thing, right? Yeah. And so to shine light on it, it is the way that we function, the way that we function within our brand, or the way that we function within our covenant, right? And so how can we as a team, or as a partnership, or as a married couple, how can we best serve the vehicle, or the empire, or our kingdom? How can we, because the kingdom is the overall umbrella, it's the overall foundation. So we have to contribute within that kingdom a certain way for it to be a lucrative quote unquote company, right? Or a lucrative LLC. We have to serve in a way where your best strengths can help with that kingdom, and my best strengths can help with that kingdom, okay? Yeah. So I think the number one bullet point that we're going to jump into is long-term vision.
Before we get to that, I want to figure out what part was you advocating the devil?
The idea of the 50-50, because most people would say that 50-50 in marriages it doesn't exist. And I say yes, and I also say no. I say yes in the sense of the idea that the world has about the ideal of 50-50. No, it does not exist in a marriage. But to operate as devil's advocate, it does, but not in that structure. It operates in ways of one has a task and the other one has a task, and they have an overall goal of completing this overall vision, but they both have to contribute to a task. They both have to 50-50 put into that entity to make it what it has to be, because not just one person going 100% in it. It's almost like a marriage doesn't work with one person working in it. It only works because let me finish. Okay. It only works because both people are putting 100% in, or quote unquote 50-50 in, right?
Yes.
But like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm playing the devil.
It's not like the that's how life's supposed to work. So Understood. That's the type of 50-50, if you want to call it like that. That's the type of 50-50 that people need to have, like the connected 50, like the 100 as together, like we need to make 100. If you saying that in a marriage this 50-50 doesn't work, like the 50-50, the reason why I was confused, because the 50-50 that we're talking about is the 50-50 of having somebody having a task and the other person having a task. That's right? Why I gave that. If I have a task, knowing that this is my task and I am the only person who's supposed to do this, then that's type of 50-50 that doesn't work, because they're gonna come times where I don't I don't do it, and
Right.
we're gonna have conflict.
Right.
But I know that if I don't do it, you got my back.
Right.
But in a 50-50 relationship or in a 50-50 marriage, like the label of 50
yeah,
of 50-50 that we talking about is the 50-50 that it's my task and I gotta do it, and if I don't get it done, nobody's gonna do it type of.
yeah. That's why I said like no in a marriage, and that's why I also gave a precise point that the way the world views the 50-50, right? The way the world views 50-50 is in that status that you just explained about that task, and I'm not washing them dishes because it's supposed to be your day.
Yeah,
Like I'm not washing them tomorrow. If they ain't washed on your day and they roll over on my day, they still your problem. I'm not touching them, right? So not in that worldview, and that's why I was saying no in a marriage, and then playing the devil's advocate of how conceptually a 50-50 still kind of function shows up is in a relationship. Like I can't be wanting to nurture our relationship if my wife is not wanting to nurture our relationship. You know, there's only so much that I can do as a husband in order to serve my wife, and if my wife is not serving me, then there's going to be some ebb and flow, some unbalancing aspects in it, right?
Yeah.
And so separating the two, but also, like I said, playing devil's advocate, because you have some people who would be like bringing certain concepts in that like that. So I like to talk about it in a sense of, but also show the difference between the two. Okay. Mm-hmm. The way that the world is talking about 50-50 is within those things, and that's not the way to have a flourishing empire or a flourishing goal, right? And so you ready to move on to that bullet point? Okay, so that first bullet point shines a lot of light on it, which is long-term vision, right? And I think when the world is talking about 50-50, there is no long-term vision in these relationships, right? It's we're together, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, don't know how long this is going to last. I'll give you a 5-year mark to see if you're real about and serious about getting married. These ideas, these
5-year mark?
You know, you got some girls who like 5 years, like, 6 years and stuff like that, to know if the guy that they're with, or even vice versa for the men, if the woman that they're with is serious about having a long-term vision. Because when you're in a 50-50 relationship, everything is about, per se, we got the bills, we got rent, we got water, gas, and I got my car, you got your car. I'm not paying on your car, so you gotta, you go work. Your paycheck go to your car, but
even
this
when
is
we're
what
going out to eat.
Yeah. Maybe.
Split the check.
Maybe. Depends
I mean, it's still 50-50.
Right, still 50-50. Also depends on that relationship. That also depends on how often they go out. Also depends on if they go out every Sunday, one person pays for it fully and the other one pays for it next time, or they both pay half every time. It just depends on the people that we're talking about, because some people are like, nah, I don't do that with the food. I've seen it happen as well. Especially I've been one person at one point in time, those people, and also, like I said, the long-term sense. I don't know this person all the way like that. Yes, we may be intertwined and things like that, but at the same time, I would say that there was no long-term vision, and it was about just the now of paying the bills, right? And I think that's what a lot of people in those relationships really focus on. They don't have what we're going to be doing in the next 5 years. They don't have plans of what we're going to be doing in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And so everything is the now base. And I think that's also the downfall of the 50-50 and the reason why there are a lot of failing relationships to it. I do also understand that 50-50 as well. I understand why it exists. If you guys can't come together and you guys are only coming together intimately, but you can't come together financially, ideal wise, vision wise, what is the point of eliminating the 50-50, right? There is no point, because you guys can't see beyond the now. And so you may be here today and gone tomorrow, right? And you gave your whole fortune overnight, and per se, I'm sure that's an unpleasant experience. So I think it's also about value at that point. When you get in those relationships, how are you setting your standards, right? Do you know your boundaries? And what's the value of the relationship? Because that will start to shine more light on if this 50-50 ideal will enter into your zone.
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yes, I was gonna say, in terms of like long-term vision, most of the time we get into a relationship not thinking about the long term, like, is this the person I want to spend the rest of my life with? Is this the person? I'm not saying you should think about that, like as soon as you meet someone you're like,
right,
I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. No, you should get to know the person first, of course.
Right.
But we don't think in terms of like, if I'm still with this person in the next 5 years, which is something that is it something that I would want to do?
Yeah.
Do I want to be with this human being? Things happen along the way in relationships, which is why I would recommend, if you want to be in a relationship, whether you're a man or a woman, you should have the requirements of what type of a person you want in your life. And that will help you navigate through, because you know that if I do this, and if this person is like this, that means that's a red flag for me, because it's not part of my requirements. So requirements will help you, because you know what you want, and you know that if I meet this person is going to be like this. The person is going to be the person that I need in my life, and the person that's going to help me become the person that I want to be. So you shouldn't just like be like, oh, because he's cute, he's nice, he's sexy, and all that. I think you should think in terms of like, these are my requirements, besides of adding, the requirements. I want someone who's gonna put me first. I want someone who's going to be cute. I want someone who's going to be beautiful, because a person can be beautiful and cute with no brains. And you really don't need that in your life. I don't know if I should say this, but I wanted literally to say it. I wanted to chime in a question you asked a friend not too long ago. I think it was 2-3 weeks back. You asked them what type of a friend they want in their life. Yes. And then in those terms, I was like, there's no requirements, there was no requirements in terms of like this. I want a friend who's going to pour into me. We're going to pour into each other, right?
There's no awareness yet.
Yes.
So like when you think of a mother, you can articulate a nurturing mother, loving, and things like that. And most people don't spend the time
doing
do that for friends. And they say have expectations and not to have expectations, but you want expectations when you go to a job. You want expectations when you have a mother and a father. You want expectations when you get in relationships. And for that being said, having expectations on what a friend is like is another one, right? So
it's
having that verbiage.
Having like requirements of every person you want in your life,
right?
It helps. It really helps, because you know the type of people you want in your life. You don't want someone who's because you become the
top 5 people you spend your time with.
Yes, you become one of them, and you need to be mindful on who you want in your life. And if you want someone who's negative, who's just gonna be victim vomiting on you every day, all day, and then now you left with the stress and the anxiety and everything that they give to you when you talking to them. That's not cool. I don't think that's cool. I think we should all see ourselves with the people that we want to become.
I also want to shine more light on that, what I was talking about earlier too, which was the 50-50 rule, right? And the long term. I also want to speak to the ladies, and then I'm gonna speak to the men. And I want to speak to the ladies is from a man's point of perspective. I understand the 50-50, and I don't necessarily, like I said, you have to have long-term goals. So women who expect men to pay for dates on the first date and things like that, I feel like it's a blessing to do that. You know, for a man to come out of his pocket. You know, you get some dudes who are graciously and generously want to spend money on you, which is not a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
But we are talking about also to those men that you don't even stay with, even though they just paid your whole bill. You know what I'm saying? Like the
thing, yeah,
it was just a date thing, like you're not even with, right? Or for instance, even the ones that do bless that date, and you know, most women have like an expectation like that's supposed to happen. Is a very arrogant mindset to come to. Reason being is we don't owe you anything. We don't know you, and we're getting to know you just as well as vice versa, right? And so that's almost a requirement. Like if a man goes out on a date with you, and you know, it was the roles will switch, right? And he expecting you to pay. You would look like, why should I pay? You know, it would be like a vice versa thing. If you put yourself in other people's shoes, you understand what I'm talking about. But it has to be an open understanding of doing it, right? And it's a blessing for a man to want to take a beautiful, gorgeous lady out and say, hey, I want to just take you out, and it seemed like we'll have a really good time because I like your energy. And you're just so bubbly and stuff like that. I just definitely want to get to know you more. And I think I got a good place in mind that we should go, right? And that's different, right? Because then he's appreciating the value that he sees within you. Not just because you got a fat ass or you're cute and all these other things. Like that's a part of it, but it's genuinely what I see beyond the face, right? Yeah. And so for the fellas, it is definitely a blessing to go out on a date and necessarily not even be saying like I want to go out on a date, but to go out on a date and a woman gestures the ideal of, hey, I don't expect for you to pay for my lunch or my dinner. Do you want to go 50-50 on it, right? Or I'll pay for this time and you pay for the next time. It's just a gesture, but do it from a genuine place. Men appreciate that shit because then again, you're not operating from a sense of expectations. You ain't expecting this dude to pay for you because number one, he probably didn't even ask you out. It was just like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You trying to chill mean not, can I take you for dinner? You know,
to say something.
Yeah.
On that, I would say that when I was reading Steve Harvey's book, he said that, which I think is something that worked for me, into seeing like the type of man that, you know, when I was looking for my guy, when I was looking for you, actually. Hey. So he was like, you need to have your own money, right? Ooh. However, okay, you don't reach for the purse when the bills hit the table. You first look at the man, the way that he's gonna, how is he going to articulate the bill on the table? Right? Is he gonna just go ahead and pay for it at the same time and not worry about nothing? Or is he gonna look at you? And you do not want to be with the man who wants to do that because you're trying to avoid the 50-50 thing again. Right. So if you're gonna be like, I'm gonna reach for my purse so that he can see that I don't have no expectations, right? Even though you know that you don't have money or you do have money. So you bring in the energy of like, I can take care of myself, instead of like believing or having faith into like, this man can take care of me. You know? Even though right now it's not like that. It's not like the old days where you're like, I just want my man to take care of me and I just want to sit and do nothing and watch Netflix all day. No. It's kind of like, is he a leader? Because that's where the leadership skills starts. They start in, and like, okay, I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to make sure that when we cross the road, you on my side or you on the other side of, you know, no, you're not like, I'm not hiding behind you or anything like
Right.
that. Like those are the leadership skills. That's something that you should look for in a man instead of acting as a man or acting as if like, I got this. You know what? I can take care of myself.
Yeah.
I can do this. I can do that. Instead, let the man lead. So you relax. And even if he says, let's go 50-50, asking like, okay, let's go 50-50 on the check. That's okay. But you don't reach first. You let him do it first. Right. And then if he looks at you and say, hey, you know, where's you? And then you reach, you know, because you're trying to find the one. Okay. You're not trying to find someone who's going to be like, 700, we're paying 1,500 rent, bring your 700 in, go to work, you know. They're not thinking long term. They're thinking like for the right now, like let's do this and get it over and done with.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think that's a good, very highlight too. Because in my past scenarios, I've always I didn't even ask, I just paid, you know. And if I definitely put myself in that environment, I definitely want to make sure. And ladies, don't go on dates if you don't have money.
Yeah.
It's equivalent to you, a man coming on date and not having the money.
And then you're having a conflict, and then now you're hating on him because now
because you came there lackful anyway.
Especially it's hard times right now. People don't have that much money.
You should be even focused on dating if you ain't got no money. Like, don't agree to go no. You need to be in the house working on self. You don't have time to be having no date. I don't give a damn if you think he gonna pay for it. You need to be on your own shit. You need to be on your own alignment. By the time you go out on that date, you need to definitely have
unless
money.
If he asks you to be like, okay, let's go and take
and you be verbal and say, like, hey,
financially in a financial situation right now, so
or per se it doesn't fit in my budget right now.
Exactly. Yeah,
you don't gotta say, you ain't gotta explain your situation.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because look, a lot of women explain situations in the past, and I don't care about your bills gotta be due, but I do too. Like, don't tell me, because it's coming from a place of, are you gonna pay my shit?
Yeah.
Right. When you start overspilling, don't overspill. Don't victim vomit. Don't victim vomit.
Oh yeah, that's
Keep your business to yourself. It's not in your budget. And if the man insinuate and say, I definitely know what you're talking about. Yo, but look, this one's gonna be on me because I got you on this one. And you gotta know how to have those conversations. You gotta know when you're talking to a genuine man. Be open, that point. But don't go victim vomit and tell him, look, you gotta pay for this and then this and then this. It's like, I didn't ask you all that.
Yeah, and then you can talk about the problems once you guys get into a relationship and moving in together.
If he asks you,
now,
if he asks you,
you know,
because you don't want no man telling you all about his childhood problems if you ain't even asked him.
Yeah,
like he just spills out his. Yeah, when I was a kid, you're like, damn, son, I don't know you like that.
Not even childhood, like something that he's going through right now.
Or so, yeah, even that. I say childhood because it's more of like.
More related.
Yeah, like nobody asked you deep into what happened to you when you was a kid, you know? That's deep. I don't know you like that. Yeah, I didn't even ask you. We didn't even get deep in those conversations.
People like to share their experience.
Understood.
You know?
Yeah, but I definitely think...
It also depends. I would say it also depends on the type of person and the type of people we're talking to.
Exactly.
Because, you know, we're different and other people are different. We're just here to give you guys our opinion about what do we think and what could help and what doesn't work. Right. Yeah,
because when you like look at let me just spill this real quick. When you're looking at like people who are having interviews and they're well off in a nice place in life, financial, health, wealth, love, and happiness, just overall good, and they don't just spill. They get prompted to ask certain questions to tell, so people want to know more, and then they share. And so I feel like in mindset, it's the same ordeal when you're out in public or you're meeting somebody for the first time. You don't just go spilling things. You open the doorways and you ask certain questions to prompt to get to a deeper conversation.
Right.
Not just start off the rip with it, you know? That's my awareness on it. But moving forward on the next bullet point, this one is financial growth together. You lead on this one.
So I would say regarding the first point, which was the long term, it falls under the financial growth. So if you guys get together, let me say you're now leaving together, right? So the long term vision was recapping on that. It was pretty much basically you meeting the person, and then do you have long-term vision, or y'all are together already, do y'all have any long-term vision, which leads into like financial growth and buying a house together or building a house together, helping other families, helping ourselves, our family, right? Because it starts inside the household before it even gets outside. That's why they say that if you don't have money and you don't pay tithes, you're not going to pay tithes when you have money, because you haven't activated that muscle, right?
You don't have enough
in financial growth.
You don't have enough momentum.
Yes, because you don't know how to. You haven't even started, right? You don't, So in financial growth, I would say that having a plan as a couple, like where do we see ourselves financially? Do we see ourselves making 100,000 a year together? Do we want to invest? Do we want to, because if you're living together, you're already married. It's like you're leaving like a married couple, but not married, with not rings, with no, but you're married, you'll leave together. Why don't you just put them in, instead of I make 2,500, I make 2,500, why don't you just make like 5,000 in a household? We make a 5,000, we pay rent, we invest, we pay for the cars, we pay for this, we pay for that. Oh, we can reduce this, we can cut off this, we can cut off that, and we can take that money, we can put it on a savings account. Growing financially together is to sit down and have a certain plan of like, we want to go crazy financially. We want to be non-stoppable. Is that a word? Unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
We want to be unstoppable.
And non-stoppable. Because you can't see me, son. You can't stop me because I'm unstoppable.
Because I'm non-stoppable. Yes, being nobody can stop us. Like, we're going crazy. Like, everybody's like, what did you guys do? Just doing it, like cutting off certain things that you guys do, and just working together to reach the same goals that you both have. Because if you all have a goal together, you'll know what you're reaching. But if you don't have a goal together, you don't know where you're going. You're just going,
And also to chime in on what you're saying, you have to establish trust. And I think that's where a lot of those 50-50 relationships roll in.
I think I wouldn't leave. I'm sorry. I think I wouldn't leave with someone if I don't trust them. Like, why do we stay together?
But people have intimacy with each other for the people who they don't even trust.
Okay,
it happens all the time.
Okay, I know, like the one night stand situation. However, why do we live on the same household if I don't trust you? What if you just like up and disappear on the day of the rent? I actually had that. I'm sorry, babe, but I actually had that happen to me.
Really?
Like, it wasn't in a relationship. It was like a friendship kind of stuff. Like, at the end of the month, they up and left. Like, it was a huge conflict that happened. Like, they were mad about something. Like, I did something and stuff. Like, maybe I did do something that they didn't like, but
communication.
I don't know. I don't know, because I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then it was like, boom, up and left. Wow. And I was like, I don't have the other half of the rent. Like, what do we do now? It was me and the other friend. We were like, we don't have the half of the rent that she was supposed to give in. So now it's like, we're behind on rent and they charging us, and we're about to get evicted. And it was the whole lot.
9 yards.
Crazy thing. Yeah. It was crazy. We had a baby, and at the apartment complex, they worked with us. They were like, you'll have a kid. If you'll get evicted, they're going to take this kid away. And you guys are immigrants. You're not from here, And we had to like find a spot, and they had to let us leave over there. We had to find a place, and we had to move to a foundation community.
Yeah.
It was God's work too.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Showing that the trust, like, we build the trust and we do things together. This is how we do it. Like, if we don't trust that person, then why are you bringing them in the household? Because we didn't trust her from the beginning,
And that was this.
Yes, we didn't trust her from the beginning, because the way that she was doing things, it was like, we don't like that she did that. We had things that we didn't like about her, but we still brought her into the household. We still believed in her, because she was the one who came up with us being the ones on the lease together. Yes, and she was not on the lease.
But you gotta remember, like, too, look, if your intuition already tells you, and you get intuitive nudges that lets you know, she had got an intuitive nudge, guys, and so do many of you, and you ignore it.
Yeah.
You ignore it like it's not even a part of your internal compass.
Yeah.
You know,
you see the promise, but you don't see the project.
You knew this guy was a piece of garbage, and yet you still decided to ignore those signs. Right? So again,
like, I like the sex.
That too, you know, like, don't be ignorant, don't be blind, because if you choose the route, you're gonna regret it.
Yes.
And
it's gonna be even harder later.
Yeah.
Like, it gets worse.
But everything happens for a reason. So if you got to be the one that go through it.
Embrace it. Yeah. And then get out of it too, stronger than ever.
That too.
And if you're going through it right now, look at me. I'm sitting here right now. I was almost in the street, but thanks to God I wasn't. I almost lost my kid. Thanks to God I didn't. You know, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Just learn. And if I can prevent you moving forward to have more confidence in yourself, have more confidence in your faith, have more confidence in your intuition, you will make the right decisions that align you with the people that you want to surround yourself around. And so, more to the story, they don't follow these things and they don't go the route that you're talking about. It's because they're surrounding themselves around people that they don't trust. And these type of bullet points won't get touched if you don't trust the person. Why would you put your money in the same bank account and y'all have joint account when he can, or they or she can swipe all the money from the account? You already have bad thoughts already swimming of the possibilities of it not working out. Yeah. So those are signs. Those are red flags. Okay.
And for the effort that you have to fight for things like that, for you being happy, because most of the women in our community, which I would say like melanated women, you have to fight. You have to scream your lungs out of a man who mostly don't care.
Who's not interested in making it work.
In making it work. Is just here for what he's here for, which is, I mean, I like the freakiness of what we do together and stuff like that. So I think it's good that you listen to your red flags and you have requirements as a woman and as a man. You need to have requirements because there are men
standards and boundaries.
Standard boundaries and requirements. Write your requirements down, at least 10 of them, and know that if this man doesn't have this, I'm not going to stick around. And if they have at least 5 of my requirements, but they have other traits of like, I don't like this, it's going to happen. Trust me. It's going to happen.
You don't get a perfect unicorn.
You don't get God doesn't bless you with the perfect unicorn. You have to decorate your own unicorn. You know, you have to put the colors. You have to make it look magical.
You don't decorate the foundations though. They gotta have the foundations.
You gotta have the foundation.
No foundation.
Yes. You did have the foundations.
I had the foundations.
I told you, like, you had the foundations, and then like I wouldn't be here if he didn't have the foundation, because I had my requirements and in what I've learned. And also, I would suggest you guys buy this book. It's Think Like a Man, Act Like a Lady.
Oh, right? About Steve Harvey?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't read that book, y'all.
Watching a movie is different. Like, they give out different. Like, it's different. You don't catch a lot than reading it. Like, if you're reading it, like, there's more in the book and there's more nuggets. There's more things that I used personally and they worked for me. Then I watched the movie and I didn't really
connect with it.
You know, yes. But the book was like, what? You know? So that's a very good book.
I do want to chime in. Yeah. If you guys are interested in, because the first thought I had was, what are the foundations, right? If you guys are interested in knowing what foundations to seek for when looking for the significant other, definitely comment at the bottom of the video. If you made it this far, comment at the bottom of the video.
Let us know.
Do a video on foundations or type in foundations. Okay, foundations in the comment. Drop it if you're interested and want us to make a video on that.
Drop it down below. Drop it.
Okay, anyway.
Stop.
But look, So, conflict resolutions. This is the next bullet point, guys.
Yes, conflict resolutions number 3. 50-50 causes conflicts. It
Yes.
causes conflicts in the way of like, I know I don't like to be in a dirty house. I don't like if my husband's stuff is on the floor, my kids' stuff is on the floor. I do not like that. I don't like walking around in a house like I am, like it's just catched on fire. Everything is everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
And if I would have to wait for you to clean up, that would irritate me and that will cause conflict, because it's like, why don't you do it before you go to work? You know, now I'm going to find reasons to make it valid that I'm right and
why do you do
wrong.
that shit when I told you
Right?
to do that shit?
Why didn't you wash the dishes? Why do we still have the dishes? Like, you haven't cooked. What are we going to eat? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it causes a lot of conflict. A lot of conflict to be 50-50. I'm getting paid on the 30th. He's getting paid on the 6th. The rent needs to be paid. He don't have no money. He gotta wait until the 6th. We're gonna get late charges, right? And it's like, now that's conflict. Now we talking about this, and then it's like, you know that we were supposed to pay rent. Da 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 da. You know, why don't you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
Yeah.
And it becomes the whole thing. The light bill needs to be paid. I'm getting paid on a certain day. Light bill needs to be paid on a certain day, and he already has the money. I don't have it. Because another thing that you guys need to understand, like in a relationship, not both of the couple is gonna have good financial qualities.
Yeah.
The other person is gonna get it from the other person's like, okay, let's come down and let's do this. Let's plan. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
If open to receive.
If open to receive, yes. Then, however, it's like, the couples are meant to be different. Like if you meet someone, they're not going to be the same as you are. You're going to have to like influence them to become the person that, not change them, but
to inspire them.
Inspire them, yes. Inspire them to become the perfect couple that you see, the perfect couple that you imagined. Inspire your partner to be that person, and that's going to happen because that's what you see, and that's pretty much what they want too, you know.
Allow yourself to be molded in positive aspects of your partner.
Exactly, yeah. Don't focus on the negative, because most of the time you find a person and you're just focusing on the negative. Like I've seen people doing that on their partners and be like, he doesn't want to do this, he doesn't want to. But what it is, what's the good in the relationship? Why are you still in the relationship? What's the goodness in here?
Yeah, what do you see?
Why are you here? You know,
you see potential. What kind of potential? Like, you know.
Yeah.
And being able to articulate when somebody asks you. You know.
Exactly.
Because you have people do that with their things that they like and they don't like. You have people who can express a whole bunch of stuff that they don't like about this specific thing or something like that. But if you was to ask them, like, what do you want to do? What are things that you like? They're very limited. They probably only have like 3 to 4 things that they articulated, but named 15 to 12 things they didn't like.
Yeah.
And so having that awareness of what, if you're gonna do it on the bad side, do it try to match it on the positive side.
On the positive side, yeah.
And have an actual list that you are aware of that this person or that these things or other things contribute into.
I like the task
likeness.
they did. I'm sorry. I like the task they did on Why Did I Get Married? I think Why Did I Get Married 2? I think. Where it was Janet Jackson. She got recently a kind of asked me, who's Janet Jackson? It was Janet Jackson. She asked them to write the good and the bad in their relationship, what's good and what's bad, and whatever number is high, then you should make your decision. Don't go around and like fluttering your problems. Write down the good and the bad. What's good? What does your husband do that is good? And what does your husband do that is bad? And the bad was like probably 3 things or 2 things or 1 thing. And you just like, from that 1 thing, you making up stuff. You're making up stuff. Like the reason why they're like this, because like this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Motor story, we feel like from our own personal experiences and from what we see on the outer realm of things and other people's experiences, that 50-50 does cause conflict resolutions, right? It causes a conflict due to one person not showing up for that thing that they were supposed to do,
Yeah.
or for the responsibility that they had. And it's probably more conflict than good. Now, I'm not saying that there are not couples who do 50-50 where they're very successful. You got to remember, we live in a world where possibilities are endless, right? So you may have people who have created a philosophy around 50-50, right? And they make it work because you have two people who execute well in the relationship. And so if you have two people who execute well in that relationship and they have their 50-50 rules and methods, then I don't see any problem. But
and if that's you,
congratulations.
But
for the most part, most people get in those relationships and they require and have these expectations for that person to hold the end of the bargain, as though like we're inside of a company and you were supposed to file those documents and I never got them on my desk. So what the fuck is going on? Type of concept. So that's our third point. And our final point is health and well-being. What are some points about this health and well-being?
So in health and well-being, it's pretty much like you got to be healthy to be wealthy, right?
You got to be healthy to be wealthy.
Yes. So.
And you don't have to be healthy to be wealthy. Rick Ross. But at the same level, health is wealth, and so the more you have your vitality, and the more you have the overall electricness of your body, the further you have vitality going further in the future to enjoy the wealth that you build now, right? And so there's no point in making a whole bunch of money if you only live in only 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking on that, so health and well-being. With health and well-being, I would say that if the household is divided, right? You're living in the same household, and you guys are divided. And for sure, you guys are divided in food. For sure, everyone, does their own thing, definitely, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to be healthy if you have so much stress, right? You're not going to be healthy speaking negativity towards your partner and towards yourself and towards everything that's happening in the household. You are not going to be healthy, and you are not going to be well mentally, physically, and financially if everything you are part of is divided.
Yeah.
There's no wealth, and there's no health, and there's no well-being, right? You're not going to be there's no comfort. Like, there's no way that you get home and you're like, I can't wait to get home. There's always going to be, I'm at work and I wish I could stay at work because I know that I'm going home and everything is just like a mess. And that man, I know he's sitting in a couch and playing games and he's not doing anything because you're expecting him to do something instead of like, I get home, babe, I would love you to do your games at this certain time, like of the day, like at the daytime when literally everything is done, we chilling, we would love to watch TV, you can do this, you can do that,
Don't forget
and
that
same as and same as women, like you would be sitting and drinking with your friends every time and the man comes in the house and he's like, you know what, like I know I'm going to the house right now and this is 1, 2, 3 that's gonna happen. There's no well-being over there. You're stressed out. Like there's a lot going on in your life that you cannot you're not happy about. So you're not going to be healthy or well,
Yeah.
So
To chime in on what my wife was saying is that well-being is also having expectations for your I'm sorry, let me reword that. Well-being is also having intentions on your partner to be, do, and have all the good they desire. And if you're in a relationship with someone and they don't have those intentions for you, and you don't have those intentions for them, that's a part of well-being. That's a part of mental, physical, and spiritual completion, right? We're in this world to have fulfillment, not just satisfaction. Satisfaction is only a short dose of dopamine. It comes and goes. Yes, it comes and goes. And you need another hit of it, right? And so fulfillment is an overflow of abundance. You just get the feeling, and you sit in it for a long time. And one thing about this whole 50-50 concept that I wanted to shine light on, which was,
oh my God,
even dealing with God, there's no 50-50 relationship with God. Sometimes we do zero. Sometimes we do zero work, and God does 150 million times more.
Yeah.
Right? It's an ongoing, continuous basis. Think about the water and how it continuously flows, and there is no stops. It just flows and flows and flows and flows and flows through eons and centuries. This is the flow, and this is the energy that God does for us. And we come up short a lot of the fucking times. Excuse my language. We come up very short. And so, if the universe doesn't come up short in 50-50, again, like I said, play the devil's advocate on both ends. I understand the 50-50 for certain things, but that means you should not be moving forward in any of those relationships if you have to come to the table 50-50, right? And if it's successful, my hat's off to you, definitely.
Yeah.
But there's no 50-50 when it comes to your fitness goals. You gotta show up 100% because the gym gonna be there 100%. It's gonna be there whether you go today, tomorrow, you stop going for a week, a month. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no 50-50, right? And so, other aspects of requiring another person outside yourself to go 50 in on something, and you go 50 in something, but are you taking 50-50 in all the other aspects outside yourself too as well, right? A job don't do 50-50, and you give a lot of your time to that job. They're not doing 50-50 with you. They take most of your time, and if you're not smart about how you convert that money to make more money for you, then my friend, you losing more interest, right? You're not getting any equity out of this, right? They're taking more from you. They're doing 80-20. Most investors most jobs are doing 80-20, but you're not requiring them to do 50-50. So we just got to think about this stuff a lot of the times, because we go throughout life and we apply things to some things, but you got to remember these are different subjects, but all are talking about the same perspective if you can see through it, right? Bunch of topics, but they all come together at the end of the day, and you can all see from those different topics how they all flow together. And how you do one thing is how you do all things.
Exactly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the conversation yes, ma'am?
I want to chime in.
My wife wants to chime in. Give us 1 second.
I wanted to say that what you have said, what we do with our health and well-being part of our life is like when we meal prepping, when he's not home, I gotta make sure that we have meal prep, right? But prepping the meals together and doing most of the things together in the kitchen, then one person does this and another person does this. It's a little bit of strain because you're not going to keep up, and you're not going to be here 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, right?
Yeah, 9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10.
Yes, ma'am.
You're not going to be here, so it's all that's in just helping out each other in that perspective, like packing.
The growth together.
Yes, packing his bag to go to the gym. Oh, this is what he's going to need. He's going to need a towel. I'm going to need this. We're going to need water. Maybe he makes sure that we got water ready. We got this ready. Hey, we wake up. Who's the first person who always wakes up early? We wake the other person up. Let's go to gym. We go to gym together. So it's like a togetherness thing. Even though sometimes he's going to go by himself. I'm not available. I'm going to go by myself. I'm not available. He's not available.
Right.
It's still the togetherness thing, because it's something that, hey, babe, did you work out today? At the end of the day, we do our night routine, yoga, meditation. So there's a lot of us instead of me. You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of us instead of me, and it makes it easy if you have a team, like we work as a team, right? It makes it easy. Teamwork
makes the dream work.
Makes the dream work. But if you're gonna do it by yourself, it's gonna take you time to get to the finish line.
Y'all give my wife a round of applause. You know what I'm saying? Because you see her out here using that American slave teamwork meant to do it. But she was slaying them like, you know, she from South Africa, but like she getting it down.
I'm with you.
Yes.
A lot of the times we're together, so yeah.
So yeah, what she was talking about and chiming in, like after this, after we wrap this up, one of our couple of agendas for today, one of those is figuring out our workouts for the week. Right, so when Monday hit, we need to know what we're going to the gym to work out on. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then we take our rest days. Same, you know. And that's a togetherness. You can devil advocate and say 50-50 because we both got to come to the table and talk about it. But it's a togetherness of seeing the vision and making sure our vision gets accomplished.
Yeah,
because we have a vision together that we can see. And we are moving towards that with as much momentum as we possibly can. So, are we done with everything?
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you so much for joining us today at the Loch Fam Diaries. And as we always say, please gently smash that like button for the content. We took time and we, come together and we brainstorm these ideas so we can have valid points to talk about and share with people who may need to hear another different perspective about it. Okay.
Yeah.
And also too, if you like this content and you like the stuff that we talk about, our short forms are definitely our entertainment wise, but we definitely love our long forms because we have a lot of experience in some things and we definitely would love to share and serve our community the best way we can while we're here on earth.
Yeah.
So definitely smash that like button and then also hit the subscribe and also catapult us to our goal of 500 subscribers.
Yes.
We are riding the train of the YouTube. So value and get the skills, the information, share.
All right.
One up. Peace, blessings, prosperity, and success of abundance on your journey in life.
Thank you for watching.
We'll catch you on another one.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next Wednesday.
All right. Bye-bye.
Peace and love.
Yeah!
E joga, e joga.